Welcome to NFL Nexus. The Indianapolis Colts are quietly putting together a team that looks like a real contender. And it's all because of two specific pillars that are getting set to define their success as we look ahead to 2026. Today, we're going to break down exactly how a surprise rookie sensation and holding on to a strategic mastermind are setting the stage for a dominant new era of Colts football. If you're a fan of this kind of deep dive NFL analysis, someone who really loves getting into the weeds of team building, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss one of these explainers. So, for a team like the Colts, how do you make that jump, from being a solid team, maybe a playoff team, to a true championship threat? It's not just about drafting a star quarterback or making a couple of splashy moves in free agency. No, it goes deeper than that. It's about finding that perfect, sustainable balance between exciting young talent and established, brilliant leadership. And as we're about to see, Indianapolis is on the verge of striking that crucial balance in a very, very big way. And that right there, that's the Colts formula. It's the very core of their whole blueprint. It all hinges on these two ingredients. First, you need that explosion of young, cheap talent that can play way above their contract and become a long-term cornerstone. And second, you need the stability of brilliant, proven leadership that can guide that talent. When you put those two powerful elements together, you don't just have a team that's built to win right now, you get a team that's built to win for years. So, how are the Colts actually putting this blueprint into action? Well, it all kicks off on the offensive side of the ball, where a situation that honestly looked like a looming crisis was completely solved when an unexpected rookie emerged as a potential cornerstone for the future. This is the first pillar, and it's a story of opportunity meeting absolutely elite performance. For years now, the Indianapolis Colts offensive line has been the engine of their entire offense. I mean, it's been their whole identity. But with some major changes on the horizon, they were facing a massive challenge. How do you keep that level of dominance when you're about to lose your longtime anchor at right tackle? Well, the answer, as it turns out, was a surprise to just about everyone, because he was already in the building. Just look at this unit. This was the Colts' starting O-line in 2025, and it was widely seen as one of the best, most cohesive groups in the entire league. With established vets like the All-Pro Quentin Nelson and the rock-solid Braden Smith leading the way, they were an absolutely dominant force. They kept their quarterback clean, they opened up huge running lanes, they were the real deal. But that level of success was about to be put to a serious, serious test. And here's where things get tricky for the Colts. Braden Smith, their fantastic anchor at right tackle, was set to become a free agent in 2026. Now, in today's NFL, top offensive linemen get paid a lot. Indianapolis was looking at a brutal decision. Do you shell out a massive market-setting contract to keep Smith and potentially cripple your cap space for other positions? Or do you risk losing a foundational piece of your offense? It was a classic case of a team becoming a victim of its own success. The Colts' solution to this whole Braden Smith problem came from a really unlikely source, a fourth-round rookie out of Princeton named Jalen Travis. Now, he wasn't a high-profile pick, okay? He wasn't expected to see the field much, if at all, in his first year. But when injuries forced him into the starting lineup, what he did with that opportunity was nothing short of remarkable. And it completely changed the team's entire long-term outlook. So when Braden Smith went down with an injury in the second half of the 2025 season, Jalen Travis was literally thrown into the fire against some of the best defensive fronts in the entire league. Now, for a mid-round rookie, the goal there is just to survive, right? Just don't be the reason the offense fails. But Travis didn't just tread water. He thrived. From his very first snap, it was clear that the Colts had found something really, really special. And the numbers absolutely back it up. Pro Football Focus gave Jalen Travis an overall grade of 72.1 for his performance across those 4 starts. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is well above the league average for a starting offensive lineman, a benchmark that a lot of veterans struggle to hit. For a rookie playing out of position sometimes, under all that pressure, a grade like that is a massive sign that he's a legit, high-quality player on the rise. But it's not just the overall grade that's so impressive. It's the details. Get this. Across more than 300 high-leverage snaps, Jalen Travis gave up just a single sack. 1. That's it. That is the kind of elite pass protection that completely transforms an offense. It gives your quarterback the confidence to hang in the pocket, it lets those complex routes develop downfield, and it keeps your offense on schedule and out of those dreaded third and long situations. And when you dig deeper, you see it wasn't just his pass protection. Travis also earned an outstanding 72.6 grade in run blocking, proving he's a true dual-threat lineman who can really move people off the ball. And check out that versatility. While he mostly played right tackle, he also took 61 critical snaps at left tackle, showing off a football IQ and athletic ability that gives the Colts incredible flexibility along their offensive line moving forward. So the bottom line here is this. Jalen Travis's emergence has completely changed the entire equation for the Colts O-line and their whole roster construction. Instead of facing a really difficult, franchise-altering financial decision with Braden Smith, they now have a young, talented, and, this is the key, cost-controlled player who is ready to be a long-term starter. That is a massive win for a team trying to build a sustainable contender because it frees up millions in cap space to go fix other areas of the roster. Okay, so with the future of the offensive line in very good hands, the Colts can now turn their attention to the other side of the ball. And while the offense is being solidified by this emerging young talent, the defensive side is anchored by something just as valuable, if not more so. A brilliant strategic mind who was very, very nearly lost to another team this past offseason. And that strategic mind is defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. Let me tell you, keeping him in Indianapolis was one of the single biggest, most underrated wins of the entire offseason for any team in the NFL. Because without him, the continuity, the philosophy, the entire defensive identity of this Colts team would have been in serious, serious jeopardy. See, Anarumo's consistent success in building top-tier defenses had not gone unnoticed around the league. It wasn't a secret. With several head coaching jobs opening up after the season, he was a hot commodity. He was drawing serious interest from multiple teams looking for a new leader to turn their franchise around. For a long time, it really felt like his departure wasn't a matter of if, but when. First, he interviewed with the Giants, then their division rival Titans, and then the powerhouse Bills, all teams looking for a new head coach. For Colts fans, this was an incredibly nerve-wracking couple of weeks. A lot of insiders were reporting he was a top candidate for multiple jobs. It truly seemed like a done deal that Anarumo would be leaving. But in a massive stroke of good fortune for Indianapolis, all three teams ultimately went in different directions, and Anarumo returned to the Colts. So what's the big deal? Why was keeping this one coordinator so critical for the Colts? Why was his return met with such a huge sigh of relief? Well, it all comes down to his unique coaching philosophy, a philosophy built on adaptability and a rare willingness to tailor his entire defensive scheme to the specific strengths of the players he has, not the other way around. You see, in a league where so many coaches are rigidly married to their system, Lou Anarumo is a chameleon. Instead of drafting and signing players and trying to force them like square pegs into the round holes of his predetermined scheme, he does the exact opposite. He builds his scheme around his players. It's a player-centric approach that consistently gets the most out of the talent on his roster and gives the Colts a massive strategic advantage week in and week out. And we saw Anarumo's true value on full display in 2025. The Colts' defense was absolutely decimated by injuries, especially in the secondary. A more rigid coordinator would have seen his unit completely collapse. But Anarumo, he adapted on the fly. He crafted unique game plans each week that kept the team competitive. It's that uncanny ability to get the most out of his guys, no matter the circumstances, that makes him so indispensable. So what do you get when you combine a rising, cost-controlled star on offense with a proven, elite mastermind on defense? You get a team that isn't just flashing potential, but is genuinely built for sustained success. And that is exactly what the Indianapolis Colts have in Jalen Travis and Lou Anarumo. It really is the perfect balance of team-building philosophies, isn't it? On one side of the ball, you have Jalen Travis, that ascending young talent giving you high-level play on a cheap rookie deal. On the other side, you have Lou Anarumo, elite, stable leadership, who provides a clear vision and total consistency for the defense. It's the ideal blend of youth and experience, of upside and stability. It's the formula that could finally take the Colts to that next level. So the Colts have the blueprint for a championship team. They have the young, cheap talent on offense and the veteran stabilizing leadership on defense. The foundation is absolutely set. The only question that remains is, can they put it all together and find that final piece to bring a Lombardi trophy back to Indianapolis? Let me know what you think that final piece is down in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this explainer, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to NFL Nexus for more in-depth analysis. While you're at it, you can help support the channel by checking out our NFL-themed coloring books. They're a great way to share your love of football with the next generation of fans in your life, perfect for kids and adults alike. You can find the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.